So what else is the government going to elicit in terms of evidence? The government is going to seek to elicit that Mr. Gua had constant telephones that he changed. He had almost hundreds and hundreds of telephones, and that he had these telephones, and he changed his number constantly, because he didn't want people to know what he was doing. I ask you to consider this. If you have been the target of constant hacking by the CCP, and if you have been the target of people listening in on your phones, using your voice recordings to impersonate you, wouldn't you also change your phones that often? If you were in constant fear of being threatened, kidnapped, killed, moved, would you also not have a car? That does not tell people where and when you're going to be taken. It's logical that that is what a person who is being surveilled would live in that manner. If you were Mr. Gua and you were being constantly targeted, wouldn't you want a safe and secure place to have business meetings? Wouldn't you establish a base where people you wanted to do business with could come and meet with you, without the interference and the distortion from the CCP? For every piece of evidence of wealth that they put in, you will have an equally fair inference that he took those steps not to cheat, not to indulge, but to make sure that the whistleblower movement survived despite the distortions of the CCP. I ask you to keep in mind when they talk to you about bank accounts, MOA, homes, ask yourself, why would a person have to open a bank account? Unless, of course, each time a bank account was owned, somebody from the OFAC list deposited money into your account and had compliance to them. That's the reason why Mr. Gua's actions must be evaluated in the context and the lifestyle in which he was supposed to exist. So the government will introduce the evidence, and I ask you to keep in mind that, for each piece of evidence that comes into them, the necessary inference from them is not the accurate one. They ask you to infer from the filing of a bankruptcy that Mr. Gua simply did not have money